No.
Squish. Squish. Can you send on Capstone? I can't, but can you send on Capstone this link?
Which capstone?
I'm sorry. I don't know why I said Capstone. WhatsApp. I'm sorry. Used the wrong word.
Yeah.
Okay, because the email in the school is a little, I don't know, messed up or something. I can't figure it out.
Wait, why can't you send it?
I can't figure out the email, and I can't send it. I'm not supposed to send in the WhatsApp anymore.
Oh,
Everything's
that's
supposed to be by
annoying.
email. So I put in the looking forwards, which is, I assuming, how most of you got it. But
I just got it because it's on the school has a document that has all the teachers' WhatsApps.
okay, great. So just so send that, not WhatsApp. So but whatever.
I mean, all the
I was
teachers
talking how we
do.
got in. I just rejoined. Like got the one from yesterday.
What?
I just used the same hit the same link from that you sent yesterday.
Right, it is. It's the same link. So yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I went back to confirm it was. I checked the one from last week and whatever. But yeah, that worked. Hi, Zach.
Shalom.
Shalom, hello.
Hi guys. Good.
How's your quarantine been, David? I feel like I haven't spoken to you.
You guys are not in quarantine.
Hey,
How's your
Rabbi. Okay, good job.
being kept from other people?
Self-isolation has been going.
Social distancing.
No, social distancing
This is
an encompassing term that means a bunch of different things. I'm currently specifically talking about self-isolation. If we're trying to get technical, Rabbi,
I've remained at my house the entire time except for going for out for a run once a day. So I guess that one run keeps me from being technically quarantined, but
I'm inside all day, but I end up having to buy groceries like every day or every other day because whatever. So I go to Kroger all the time, which isn't great. But it's been fine. I'm like almost beat Hollow Knight. That's it.
Okay, let's start taking attendance here. David, Micha here. Gabby is not yet. Max is not here. Where's Max?
I assume that's house.
Well,
thank you, Matthew.
Rabbi, by the way, I texted Micah to tell you this yesterday. He didn't tell you. I wasn't feeling well yesterday, so I was sleeping. And Micah
he told us you went for a run to the grocery store and you didn't care about shiur anymore.
That sounds good. I mean, that's true, but
Beside the point.
Yes, that's beside the point. Yeah.
Okay, we'll give it a couple more minutes.
Max.
Ellie wrote me last night that he's coming.
Oh.
That's all nice and good until it's 8:45 in the morning.
Rabbi.
Yeah.
You take attendance, but I thought these shiurs were optional.
What's your point?
What does attendance do?
I don't know. They told me to take attendance. I take attendance. What does attendance do? I don't know. I assume it goes into some larger database, and then people pay attention to it. I have no idea. I never know what it does.
Okay. Well, what my fear is that you think it's optional, but it's not actually optional, or they don't think it's optional because you take attendance. And then
I doubt that's what makes the difference, whether it's optional or not.
I'm saying they might think it's optional. They might think it's not optional.
Who's the they?
The administration.
Well, they know it's optional because I asked them permission if I could give shiur every day instead of just Tuesdays from 10 to 10:15? And they said yes. And then I said, should I take attendance? And they said yes. So I follow the rules. That's what I do. I'm a rule follower.
Yeah, rule following.
All right, someone is clicking way too hard on their keyboard.
Max.
Max likes to murder his keyboard.
Mute yourself.
Max told me he goes through a keyboard once every 3 weeks. He gets a new one.
You should talk to Zach about keyboards. This is my keypad.
Yeah, I go through a keyboard once every 3 weeks.
Okay, you guys ready? Can we get started here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's have shiur. I like shiur. Okay. So here's the story. So we're talking about Isser Hana and Isser Achila, right? That's our topic for today. Machlokes Chizkiya and Rabbi Abahu, right? In terms of where we get the Isser. Everybody agrees is Isser Hana. That's not a question, right? And we have a question of what's the we want to know what is the I should say what's the benefit? What's the nature of the Isser of benefiting from Chametz, right? That's what we want to know. What's the nature of the Isser of Hana from Chametz? Okay.
Really fast. Do you want us like sending in a review for this so good also at home, or like what's the?
No, there's no work due. I don't really care.
All right, so I'm not gonna.
Right.
Don't need my computer then.
I don't know if you've heard about this, but I'm not the most not the advocate of assessments for learning.
Really, I had no idea.
No way.
Yeah. It's 9:07 in Atlanta now, right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So we want to know what the nature of the Isser of Hana from Chametz is. That's what we want to know. What is it, right? What are we talking about here? Okay. We want to know where do Rabbi Abahu or what do Rabbi Abahu and Chizkiya disagree when it comes to the Isser of Hana from Chametz? They both agree that there is an Isser Hana, right? So where do they? What's the disagreement about? What's the machlokes about? Right? We want to know according to the Lechem Mishnah, right? So how did the Rambam understand the Isser of benefiting from Chametz on Pesach? Okay. And how does the Isser of eating Chametz and the Isser of benefiting from Chametz, how are those different? Right? What's the difference between them? Okay? Those are our questions. Does everybody feel that they're holding in the questions? They understand the questions?
Indeed.
Indeed? Okay, great. Good. Okay. So those are our questions. Now,
well, I understand the questions, but to be fair, Zachariah, I don't feel like you should be the advocate if everyone understands the questions.
Okay. What am I supposed to say? I mean, that's why I have my line. Like, I can't speak for everybody else, but I understand.
I personally understand. And
okay.
then wait to advocate for the rest of the class.
Right. I don't think he's really advocating. He's just answering a question. But in any case, right. So we want to have a svara here. Okay. That's what we want to have a svara. Okay. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a svara. I don't know if you ever heard me say that before, but we're trying to find a svara. Okay. That's our goal here. We're trying to have an explanation of what's happening in the sugya. That's what we really that's what we want. We want an explanation, right? That's what we want. So here's the thing. The Torah of the Kedosha, God himself, okay, forbids us benefiting from something that we're not allowed to eat. When God says that you're not allowed to eat this thing, you're also not allowed to benefit from it. Okay? Now, here's the one thing that we have to focus on. Look at the last source. Everybody focusing on the last source? Okay? Because the question we have to ask ourselves is not why things are forbidden to eat in the Torah. This isn't philosophy class. This isn't Moreh Nevuchim class. We're not looking as to the why, but we're looking to what is the Isser Achila? Okay, what is an Isser Achila? What is it? What's an Isser Achila? I know it's a prohibition, right? It definitely is an Isser. But the Rambam says as follows. Okay, look at source number 8. Look at the Rambam says about about the Isser of eating. He says, Chol ha-nizar b'dvarim elu, and he's talking about machos asuros. Whoever's careful about not eating forbidden foods, maybe kedusha v'tahara yiter lenafsho. Okay, it's an act of kedusha. Okay, kedusha means sanctification. We're not talking about like woo kedusha, right? Because that doesn't exist anyway. But what we're talking about is the idea of sanctifying yourself from something that you shouldn't be going near. Okay, that's the idea. Whenever we take something and we say we're not gonna go near that. That's not gonna be part of us. That's an act of kedusha. That's sanctifying something. Okay, so benefiting from food, okay, can lead to eating the food. Okay, that's the idea. Once we benefit from food, it can lead to eating from food. And that encroaches upon the sanctity of a person. Ellie! Okay, so that encroaches on the sanctity of a person. Okay?
Don't unmute yourself, I hear the feedback.
Turn your camera so we can see you. And then shut your mic so we don't have to hear you. There we go. All right, Ellie! Okay, he's back, folks. There we go. Okay, so right, so that's the idea. So here's our svara. Okay, our svara is that who's Andrew? Okay, Andrew's not from our class. I tried explaining this.
I say we keep Andrew. We should keep Andrew.
No,
I like that'd be pretty funny.
No, this is not a hero project.
No, the problem is that I just gave a lecture to Aisha Torah online. By the way, Andrew's back.
Keep him. Let him
Hi,
stay.
Andrew.
Andrew, hello.
Andrew, this is not the Israel advocacy lecture that you're probably looking for. This is a shiur in Gemara in a high school in Atlanta. You're late. You missed the Aisha Torah class, but I'll post it online on my Facebook later, and you can get it there. Andrew. Okay.
My guess is that he's here for the attendance, that he's not paying attention.
Bye, Andrew. Okay, so I gave this. Yeah, okay, Andrew's not leaving now.
He wants to learn, Rose.
No. Why is, uh-oh. Do you want to remove Andrew? Okay. It's not doing it.
Just continue on.
Okay, I put him on hold. I don't know what that means. But I should create you know what the worst thing, I should create a breakout room. Okay. So in any case, but yeah, so the greatest part of this, there's a lot of like positives about remote learning, and one of them is that I actually like love remote learning. I don't know if you've noticed, I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and so one of the benefits of it is that I can give lectures everywhere. So I just lectured at Aisha Torah for an hour before our class. So the Zoom link was public. It's the same Zoom link here. So people, if they see the advertisement for it, they might not realize that it already happened. They might come in. In any case, that's why Andrew, and in the beginning there was somebody named Tehila also that came in. Okay.
So I saw that.
Right. Now it's like at the very beginning. I think yeah. So in any case, so the point is as follows: is that the idea is that we want that whenever you have an Isser Achila, it comes with an Isser Hada. Okay, that's the idea. There's obviously times when this principle doesn't exist, and that's where God explicitly states that it doesn't exist. Okay, and that's like the case of Nevela, when you have an animal that's not shechted properly or not shechted at all. So there you have a prohibition of eating it, but you don't have a prohibition of benefiting from it. Okay, that's the idea. So here what we're talking about is you have what's called you have a Isser Achila, and that Isser Achila, we want to protect it, so we protect it with an Isser Hana. Okay, and that is all in order to keep the sanctity of a person. Okay, everybody good? Okay, so really what the Isser Hana of Chametz is really, it's something that ensures the sanctity of a person. Okay, ensures the kedusha of a person. That's the idea. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's get to the machlokes of Rabbi Abo and Chizkiah. Okay. So how do we understand Chizkiah? Okay. So Chizkiah understood the issur of benefiting from Chametz on Pesach as a fence around eating. That's what he saw it as. Okay, he saw it as a fence around eating. Okay, and benefiting from chametz can lead to eating. How so? It's very nice to say, right? But how so? Because once you've breached the first sanctity, you never know where you're going to end up. Right? You don't know where that's going to end up. So right. So that's the idea that we set up sort of a fence to make sure you don't go near the fence of breaching one sanctity. Good. Yeah.
Which sheet should I open up? Oh.
Look at the looking forward.
Yeah.
In your email. And there they have it. Or somebody could just quickly send over to Ellie. Oh, you know what? No, I don't have it open. Does anybody have this?
I got it. So
wait,
the benefit from chametz.
Wait, but how is that Chizkiah? That reads more like what Rabbi Abahu says. Chizkiah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it does.
No, he literally says it comes in the extra pasuk that there's not a heter achila. That's exactly what Chizkiah says.
Well, fine. So then what does Rabbi Abahu say?
Well, I'm sure we're getting to that.
Yeah. He's right.
So,
that was going to be the next thing, oddly enough. Okay, so what does Rabbi Abo say? Rabbi Abo understood the prohibition of hana from chametz, of benefiting from chametz on Pesach, as part of the prohibition of eating chametz on Pesach, right? And that's a general principle of the Torah, right? Eating is just one type of benefiting. So in order to allow benefiting, right, the Torah would have to list the allowance of benefiting. Have to announce the heter essentially. That's Rabbi Abo.
I can hear clicking again.
It's odd. Someone's taking notes. Strange.
Mute themselves when they take notes. They're not the only person taking notes.
Is it disturbing you're looking at the sports scores from last night? There are no sports scores from last night because all seasons are canceled and everything.
David doesn't like sports anyway, so you know.
What does he do online then? Okay.
I don't want to, Rob.
Not following sports. It's just like,
Tries to get a list.
So much Donald Trump you could take. Okay, so now, all right, what do we got? What do we have next? Next, our question was the Lechem Mishnah. Who said the Lechem Mishnah yesterday? They did a very good job explaining the Lechem Mishnah. Who said it yesterday? Someone said the Lechem Mishnah over yesterday.
I think David did, maybe.
David
That
wasn't
was possible because David wasn't here yesterday. So that's
it was Zach.
Okay. Okay, Zach, would you like to explain the Lechem Mishnah to everybody? Everybody should listen, especially if your name is Ellie and you weren't here yesterday.
Okay.
That's me.
Yeah.
And so we have this machlokes between Chizkiah and Rabbi Abo, and the Rambam seems to use language that would indicate he follows both opinions. So Lechem Mishnah explains that the Rambam was told that the opinions of that when Rabbi Abo adds his second reason, he's not coming to say his reason to the exclusion of Chizkiah's reason. He's just saying that here's a second reason that could also apply, and that's how the Rambam understands this machlokes. Is not really as machlokes, but just about as two potentially coexisting ideas about the Isser Hana and Pesach.
Okay, good. Okay, so how do we understand the Lechem Mishnah's explanation of the Rambam? Okay, so the Rambam understood the prohibition of benefiting from Chametz on Pesach as an added warning, right? To what end? To ensure that no sanctity was breached. But since the prohibition of benefiting was already articulated when the prohibition of eating was listed, Chizkiya's understanding is merely an extra warning.
Chizkiya's is or Rabbi Abahu's is?
What?
Wait, Chizkiya's is or Rabbi Abahu's is?
No, Chizkiya's
This is the Lechem Mishnah, which is going to explain why the Rambam is holding by both shitos.
No, but the Lechem Mishnah says really the primary one is Chizkiya by Chametz, and then Rabbi Abahu's adding on to Chizkiya.
Right. So what's the problem?
So the way that you're saying it is that Chizkiya is adding on to Rabbi Abahu.
Squitch, I think you might have your shitos mixed up.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Let me say it again. You ready? Let's say it again, okay? Okay, the Rambam understood this is according to the Lechem Mishnah. Okay, everybody following here? I'm a little nervous that not everybody's following here, but let's see here. Okay. Okay.
I am currently following.
Okay. So according to the Lechem Mishnah, the Rambam understood the Isser of Hanav from Chametz on Pesach as an added warning, okay, to ensure that there was no sanctity that was breached. That's Chizkiya. But since the prohibition of benefiting was already articulated, right, when we listed the prohibition of Achila, right, because it comes together, so Chizkiya's understanding is an extra warning.
Then how does he tie in Rabbi Abahu?
How does he tie in from Rabbi Abahu? Because it's already included in the Isser of eating Chametz.
But so by that shita, really he holds by Rabbi Abahu, and Chizkiya is the extra reasoning.
No, he holds that Rabbi Abahu is an implicit Isser, and he says that to like really bring the point home, Chizkiya is the explicit Isser, that prevents us from breaching the sanctity.
But that, I mean, but I don't think it's really what he's saying though in what the Lechem Mishnah actually says. Like I understand that, but I don't think that's what he says. I'm trying to pull up the.
I'm looking at it now to make sure. He also like Chizkiya is a karamutar. Yeah, I think we got it right.
But he said it's pashut yoter. V'chein heviu harav alfasi b'chas bereish b'kosha b'chas avran. Zeh tam mishum taima shel Chizkiya v'hu v'pashut yoter kilomar. So he said, but the way that like at least the way that the Ran says it is that we go by Rabbi Chizkiya, or we go by Chizkiya because that's the more simple opinion, and then Rabbi Abahu lo chalak alav ela shemosif alav. That really Rabbi Abahu is the additional opinion adding onto it.
No, but squish. Why does he say it's more pashut? Because it's a kram. It's a kram yusar. There's an extra language in the pasuk. I mean, that's the explicit thing. I mean, there's an implicit thing, and we're going to say the thing that's explicit, not implicit, because that's more pashut. But the implicit one is in fuller force because it's more broad.
Where do you see him saying that?
Saying what? I mean, that's the whole point. I mean, he doesn't say it is more broad, but sometimes.
No, but where does he say that the implicit one is in more force?
What do you mean? It's more broad. Of course, it's in more force. It's a general principle.
No, but by Chametz, it seems to be that because Chizkiya is more pashut, so therefore we would go by him. But the Q would be the primary reasoning by Chametz.
I mean, that's a reason that it's more pashut, so therefore we should use it.
The way that it seems is that zehatom. This is the reason. This is the singular reason.
I would think something that applies to everything and not just to one specific area of halacha would be more strong.
Maybe I would, but that's not what the Ran says.
Yeah, the Ran is. I hear Squish. I also hear both of you guys. But according to the Lechem Mishnah, what Squish is saying, it says Rabbi Abahu lo chalek alav ela shemosif alav. And my explanation has Chizkiya as an extra warning. Okay, let's save it we'll put that aside for the time being. Okay.
Did you say that Squish was right?
Swish and Zach are right.
Okay.
You can both be right. Question is whether our explanation fits or not. That's the question. Okay. Let's look at the difference between the isser eating and the isser of benefiting. Okay, so this is where we should really be focusing our attention. Okay, so if you're having trouble focusing beforehand, here's where you really want to be focused. Okay, it's a very simple question. There's a prohibition of eating chametz on Pesach, and there's a prohibition of benefiting from chametz on Pesach. Okay, so I can't sell chametz on Pesach, right? That I can't. I can sell chametz before Pesach, but I can't sell chametz once Pesach starts. I can't benefit from chametz. I can't feed it to my animals because that's considered benefiting from it, right? All different types of benefit. That's usher. Okay, everybody's following? Yeah. Okay. So the question is, what's the difference? David, you following? Okay. So the question is, what's the difference between them? Okay. So the isser achila and the isser hana, okay, of chametz on Pesach, the difference, like we said yesterday, is its punishment, right? Like we saw in Tosfos, eating chametz on Pesach deserves karetz, but benefiting from chametz doesn't really deserve karetz, right? So that's right away. If you ask what's the practical difference between them, that's the practical difference between them. Okay. Now, right, that speaks that difference that one gets karetz and one doesn't. Right, that speaks to an inherent conceptual difference, okay, between eating and benefiting from chametz. Punishment is not a difference. Everybody look at me here, okay, when I say this. A punishment is not a difference in terms of what the difference is between them, okay? The punishment is just speaks to the difference. It tells you there is a difference, but that's not what the difference is, okay? If I steal a bag of potato chips from a makolet, and right, I do that and I get arrested, and another person comes in and sticks a gun in the makolet owner's face and steals money from the cash register. A difference will be the punishment meted out to us, but the difference between them is in the nature of the act. One is armed robbery and one is shoplifting, right? So the isser of eating chametz and the isser of benefiting from chametz has a difference in the punishment, but the punishment is merely reflective of the bigger difference. Does everybody follow that? Okay, that's a right. There's a big difference. So what is the difference? That difference, the real difference, is what I'm going to call the conceptual difference. Okay, right. So kares obviously tells us that that's a much more serious offense. So therefore, eating chametz must be a greater offense than just benefiting from chametz. Everybody follows, right? Because if I get kares for benefiting from, if I get kares for eating of chametz, right, and I don't get kares from benefiting from chametz, then obviously eating is a bigger problem. Okay? So, right, and therefore, what is the issue that we talked about in the svara? What's the problem here? Okay, so the problem is that eating something that's usher is a breach of sanctity, okay? Right, that's what we talked about. It's a breach of sanctity. It's a breach of a person's kedusha, okay? So clearly, eating is a greater breach of kedusha than hana. That's the difference between them, okay? The difference between them is how great of a difference does it make in how big of a breach of kedusha is it? Okay, that's the difference. That's a conceptual difference between the isser hana and the isser achila. So let's take a step back here. Okay, if somebody came to you and said, "What's usser when it comes to chametz on Pesach?" What's your answer going to be?
Achila.
And
Hana.
And hana. They're both usser. So someone's going to say to you, "Okay, wait a minute, hold on a second. Achila just seems to be a type of hana." So really, the greater prohibition is hana, and one type of hana is eating, right?
Wrong.
That's just what?
Wrong.
Oh, so you say wrong. What do you mean wrong? If what I just said was true, so you say no, it's not true. Well, how do you know it's not true? How do you know that eating is not just a type of hana?
Because eating is a higher punishment.
So one way I can show it to you, I can prove it to you by saying, look. Eating has an isser kares. So if they were the same, if one was a subcategory of the other, the larger category should be the harsher punishment, number one, right? Everybody following? Max, you got what I'm saying here? Okay. So that's right. So that tells me that there must be a different form of punishment here, right? There must be some bigger difference going on here between the Isser Achila and the Isser Hana. So now the question is, what is the Isser Achila doing? What's happening in the Isser Achila? And the answer to that question is, right, the Isser Achila is coming along and is a breach of Kedusha, right? That's the issue, okay? That's our problem, okay? Got it? Everybody understand? That is our sugya. Okay? Okay, so here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to move on to the next sugya, and I'd like to move pretty fast on it because I want to get to Haggadah stuff that you'll be able to say at the Seder. Right, so I'd like to. So we're gonna end up running out of time when we hit Pesach break, and once Pesach break happens, then we can't get together again because the building won't be open.
Well, can't we just do this?
Well, yeah. Can we keep doing this over
Pesach?
Well, that's crazy talk. What? School during vacation, guys? I don't know if you understand what the concept of vacation is. Ellie's like,
there's no vacation as long
Ellie's
as
like, no, you don't understand, guys. Guys, you don't get this. Hold on a second. There's something called vacation. I have to now stay in my house and not turn on Zoom. Don't you guys understand how this works?
Come on, guys.
I don't think Ellie gets that this is optional. So if he doesn't want to, he doesn't have to.
Wait, how can it be optional if we're taking attendance? That doesn't make any sense.
I'm having slight deja vu right now.
Okay, whatever, Rabbi.
I feel like we've had this conversation.
Ellie wasn't there for that joke. So Ellie, I don't think
you. By the fact that we're taking attendance, it must mean that there is a. That doesn't make any sense really.
Well, aren't we only technically if we're taking a